I think many can agree when I say that living came easier to you than how it feels now when you were younger. Granted, you did not have as many obligations as you do now, but it feels as if we had more than enough energy and fuel to overcome whatever came our way, whether it be our first math test or showing up for a sport. That drive and passion left me when I got to middle school and high school. But I shouldn't have felt this way. The world has given me all that I needed and more. Stop being so ungrateful, Sophia. I remember feeling miserable, wondering what happened to that joy I felt when I was younger. Is this just the price of growing up? Is this what the cosmos has in store for us? Oh, the cosmos of life. In the theme of Bloom, let's introduce this cosmos. The name originates from Greek, and it relates to the order and harmony of the universe. When adequately taken care of, these flowers truly thrive and can possess medicinal properties for treating inflammation and infections. Imagine you are growing this flower, giving it all the nutrients it needs so it can develop. And then, one day, you decide to just stop giving it what it needs. It does not have water because you don't care enough to water it, and it doesn't have sun because you don't let it absorb any. Is that flower going to continue to grow and reach its full potential? No, it's going to wither and die. But back to the matter at hand. What happened to that light I used to have when I was younger? Does it just switch off when I reach a certain point of my childhood? The more I thought about it, I realized that there were two other things, aside from pure bliss, that my younger self had that I no longer possessed. I went from scheduled naps and bedtimes to a consistent cycle of losing sleep. Although I used to eat with comfort, I had now trained myself how to abstain from food in general. Could the lack of sleep and nutrition explain why I've been feeling so bad? Do we really rely on sleep and eating that much? The short answer is, of course. But for these circumstances, let's go with the long answer. What is sleep? In Wallace B. Mendelssohn's book, The Science of Sleep, he defines it as a reversible period of decreased consciousness and responsiveness. You could also think of it as a crucial period of time where your body recovers and recharges for the next day. You could say that it is maintaining the order and harmony of your brain and body. The sleep cycle has 4 stages, and within these 4 stages, there are 2 states, REM and non-REM. Before we get to REM, or rapid eye movement, we have to go through non-REM, which make up the first 3 stages of the sleep cycle. And after around an hour from entering the first stage, we finally get to REM. And along with stage 3, these are the prime stages for brain restoration. So, do we just go through this cycle once? No, we should repeat this process 4 to 6 times. And a cycle lasts around 90 to 120 minutes. So, according to my calculations, we should have about 8.75 hours for restful sleep. Does this sound familiar? I hope it does. You might be tempted to stay awake during the night, even if you don't actually work night shifts. But it is imperative that we sleep during the night and maintain such a schedule. Maintaining habits supports our circadian rhythm, which relates to the patterns our body follows every day. This relates to your immune system, your metabolism, and hormone releases, which is under there. Imagine that one day you sleep really late, and that leads you to wake up really late, and so you miss breakfast, so that means your first meal is lunch. And then the next day, you decide to sleep earlier, so you wake up earlier, and your first meal is breakfast. But because you woke up early, you're sleepy, so you take a nap, and then you miss lunch. Believe it or not, these simple occurrences of not following habits day after day disturbs and weakens your body because it is discombobulating the circadian rhythm. This can then lead you vulnerable to illnesses and tumor growth. Why should we sleep at night? In the anterior hypothalamus, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN, responds to Zeitgebers. Zeitgebers translates to time givers in German. And here it refers to the light and darkness of the day. When it senses it is night, it releases melatonin. And as it flows through the bloodstream, it sends signals to your body to say that it's time to sleep. But you might feel frustrated with your body because it's not cooperating with your goals. For example, you really have to study for an exam tomorrow, but you feel absolutely exhausted. Although I can understand this fatigue and stress you feel could be your body trying to tell you that you really need to rest. And although there are other situations where it's not so easy to just decide, I'm going to sleep, because there are many responsibilities that everyone needs to attend to. When you do have to make that decision, though, I hope you consider some of the factors I have in this presentation. And moreover, if you do decide to stay up and study, the information that you are trying to absorb may just not be there in the next day because you are sacrificing your sleep for studying. So you're skipping this stage of adequate information absorption. What goes on within our cells when we sleep? A burst of GH is released. GH meaning growth hormone. Growth hormone meaning what stimulates the growth of cartilage, tissue, and organs. For adults, of course, as we become adults, there is a decline in GH. But this just emphasizes how children and adolescents need adequate sleep. There's also the luteinizing hormone, LH. And this is very sensitive to the circadian rhythm. If you delay your sleep, its release is also delayed. And what does this hormone do? Only stimulate the physiology of our reproductive organs, nothing fancy. These two hormones distinctly impact children, but losing sleep, that doesn't mean losing sleep does not impact adults. It affects anyone with a brain and body. Impaired sleep is linked to many health conditions, to name a few: diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety. Furthermore, we have these galanin neurons, which promote homeostasis. Homeostasis is your brain and nervous system's ability to maintain internal stability. Galanin is a neuroprotective peptide that maintains a number of autonomic functions, such as increasing GH or LH, inhibiting insulin secretion, or your GI mobility. So, along with rest, we need food. Because our brain and body rely on proteins, glucose, lipids, healthy fats, amino acids, and micronutrients. Each of these molecules distinctly impact a certain aspect of us. TED has a video on this, but an overview. Proteins and amino acids promote our growth and development, our mood and behavior. Micronutrients helps us work longer in academics or physical activities. If we are lacking in micronutrients, our brain has a higher risk for mental decline and illnesses. We also have healthy fats, which help our cells absorb vitamins. Medical-centric details how vitamins protect our cells and promote hormone releases. We also have minerals, which prevents bone loss, anemia, and muscle cramps. Ooh, there's a spelling mistake. That's why it is truly beneficial to have a colorful diet. You may have saw it already, but not a diet like this, but like this. And not a diet like this, but this. Also, if we're talking about diet culture, carbs. Medical Centric also talks about how our cells need energy to adequately synthesize and absorb nutrients we get from food. And this energy, for the most part, comes from carbs and glucose. Let's now apply everything that we learned to a real-life example, me. Particularly me from middle school to my freshman year of high school. It is a story that some may relate with. I would like to preface that we are about to delve into subjects relating to eating disorders. If this is too sensitive for you, this would be a good opportunity to enjoy some of the refreshments we have in the back. Let's also reflect on this question. Do we really rely on sleep and eating? Let's see. For some context, when I was younger, I was a good eater. My parents fed me well. Eating just gave me such comfort. And as a result, I had quite a bit of meat on my bones, which I despised. I would ask myself, why did my parents let me grow up like this? Why did they let me eat ice cream every night? Why did they let me eat cheeseburgers at Wendy's? Because they saw it made me happy. Food made me happy. Not to mention, my brain was actually getting the nutrients and energy it needed to process emotions. A cosmos flower, or essentially any plant, cannot develop to its fullest potential without its nutrients. As an avid TikTok and YouTube consumer at 12, I came across videos targeted to people who felt just like me, dissatisfied with how they look and desperate to shrink. Do this for abs in 2 weeks, how I lost 20 pounds in a month, before and after insane weight loss transformation. I realized the way that I thought was widely accepted. It was normal to count your calories every meal and try to calculate how many calories you would need to burn the next day. It was normal to check your weight every day. I remember when I would see that I gained a pound or two, I would be so disappointed in myself. Turns out, your weight fluctuates throughout the day, and you do gain weight as you grow up. Could this have to do with your brain and body trying to develop, and you actually absorbing that growth hormone when you sleep? I can definitely say that I was not worried about my health. It was just about how I looked, because God forbid I look like I gained weight. Fast forward after the pandemic, I gained 20 pounds. This period of time led me to move less and eat more. How could I have let this happen? I was doing so well in 6th grade. At 8th grade, I made it a goal to come back to my original weight at 12 years old. I cut out so many foods. It didn't matter that I enjoyed them. They were getting in the way of my dream of finally being skinny. And so, as a result, I was already lacking in the nutrients that I needed. And we just learned that if we are lacking in these nutrients, there's just a chain reaction of so many results. Furthermore, when I was in freshman year, I went to a school that was out of state. So I took a bus that took an hour there and an hour back. So I had early mornings and late nights. But I knew that I could not let this stop me from working out. So I woke up at 4 a.m. to do just that. Working out was more important to me than sleeping. So again, not only was I lacking in the nutrients, but then I took away that sleep component as well. As I did this, I became more and more unwell. And by this I mean, I would have dizzy spells all the time. and when I had to get up, it felt as if I was about to pass out. My memory got really bad, and I used to pride myself on having such a good memory. This impacted my academics. I remember I always had to ask for help in math, and I used to do really well with it. This also impacted my experience in the theater program. I could never remember the choreography, and I felt as if I was holding the cast back. I would also feel my heart skip a beat, not in a romantic way, but in a way where it felt irregular and wrong. Piercing headaches were normal to have every day, and so no wonder I was feeling so miserable. Similar to how your body may be sending signals to you that you needed to sleep, this was how my body was trying to tell me, you should really stop what you're doing. I will forever be grateful for my family because if they did not step up, I don't think I would be here. They noticed my weight loss, how I would cry frequently, and how turbulent my emotions were. How whenever we would eat, I would freak out when I would eat too much and have to fight myself on whether I should eat or not. On how I was struggling with my schoolwork and how I physically looked exhausted from all the sleep I was losing. My school's counselor even called them to keep an eye on me. They could even tell that I needed help. Can't say the same for me. My mom and dad entered me into a treatment for eating disorders, where I saw a pediatrician, a dietitian, and a psychologist every week. They said that I needed to gain weight because what I had been doing was essentially damaging my emotional and mental and physical health. And to recover from what I had lost, I needed to gain it all back. My parents had to decide what I had to eat, and they were advised to give me all the foods that I've been working so hard to avoid for years. Furthermore, I was prohibited from working out until further notice. This took a lot of getting used to. I would agonize on how I was losing all the progress that I had been working so hard for. Hate to say it, Sophia, but all that progress you're so proud of would probably be for nothing anyway, because if you continue with this lifestyle, you would probably just die. Because I was not waking up at 4 a.m. anymore, because I was prohibited from working out, I was able to start regaining some of the sleep I had lost. As months passed, I allowed myself to love food again. I put syrup on my waffles because I liked the taste. I ate pan de sal because it reminded me of my childhood. I started to enjoy living. I could actually retain information. So that improved my academics again. I lost my dizzy spells. My headaches started to fade away. And my heartbeat didn't feel irregular anymore. And also, my medication was able to kick in. But I want to be skinny. Well, what if your body just gives up on you before you're ever satisfied with your appearance, which will probably never happen if you have a mindset like this? Let's reflect on another question. Does growing up have to feel so bad? Growing up is going to bring challenges, which means you need to take extra care in supporting your brain and body to handle these new experiences. Your input of rest and your output of energy should be in a bit of a balance, as the cosmos would say. You are given one brain and one body, so take care of it for them and for you. Thank you.